This is the solution to problem number 46 on the Math Level 2 practice exam. Okay, so we need to find out, well, we're given that there are two angles, alpha and beta. One is greater than, they're both greater than pi over 2, they're both less than pi. In other words, both greater than 90 degrees, but both less than 180 degrees. And alpha is actually smaller than beta, and these are all relative to each other. None of them are equal, so alpha can't be equal to pi over 2, it has to be greater than, and so on. So we need to find out which of the following are true. So it's one of these Roman numeral questions where you have to decide true or false for each one and then pick your multiple choice based on that. So the first part is we're going to go one at a time and decide if this is true or not. So the sine of 2 alpha, is that less than 0? Well, you don't know what alpha is, so doubling that is going to be kind of difficult to figure out. However, what you can do is use the double angle formula, which says 2 times the sine of alpha cosine of alpha is equal to sine of the double angle. Now we know alpha is located because it's greater than pi over 2 but less than pi. Alpha itself is in quadrant 2. So we know that sine is positive in quadrant 2, the sine of an angle. Cosine is negative in quadrant 2. So a positive times a positive times a negative is negative. So this is less than 0. So is sine of 2 alpha less than 0? Yes, it is. So that's true. When I was referencing this quadrant, you may recall that's the all students take calculus. Maybe your teacher talked with you about that. All trig ratios are positive in quadrant 1. If the angle's in quadrant 2, sine is positive. In quadrant 3, tangent is positive, and in quadrant 4, cosine is positive. Now let's take a look at the next one, and that is what happens, is it true that sine of alpha is less than sine of beta? So we'll look at a sine wave. So what's happening with our sine ratio values between pi over 2 and pi? Well, at pi over 2, the sine of pi over 2 is 1, and then they all go down from there between pi over 2 and pi. So alpha, let's say alpha is here, and beta is there, so you can see that. But the sine of alpha matches up here. The sine of beta is here. So the sine of alpha is actually greater than the sine of beta, which is not what this says. So that is false. Now our final one, which is the tangent of beta, is that greater than the tangent of alpha? So let's take a look at what the tangent function looks like. The tangent function is undefined at pi over 2 and negative pi over 2, and has that kind of curve to it. That's at pi over 2. But we're curious about what happens between pi over 2 and pi. At 3 pi over 2, we have another asymptote, and the function looks like this. So here is pi. So the tangent of pi is 0. The tangent of pi over 2 is undefined. Alpha is greater than pi over 2, but less than beta, which is less than pi. So these two work in there. They're going to be in relative locations, something like that. They could be close together, but no matter how you slice it, the tangent of alpha is going to be smaller than the tangent of beta because tangent is increasing on this interval. So the tangent of beta greater than the tangent of alpha? Yes, that's true. So which answer choice says 1 and 3 are both true? That is choice C, which is our solution.